everyone, we're back with another video, man. But tonight, wherever you are, I got top 10 worst wrestling debuts ever by them good folks over at Tap Out Corner, man. Now, over the years, we've seen a lot of WWE debuts or debuts in general. And a lot of them, you know, a lot of the guys were jobbers and things of that nature. But some guys were supposed to get that rocket strapped to their back. But something went wrong. It happens. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what's going on, man. We got R-Truth right here doing some dumb shit already. When does he not do dumb shit anymore? Hey, did y'all hear today? Today is, what's today? Today is June 1st, Sunday. I seen a post from R-Truth saying he got released from WWE. WWE, if you did that, my nigga, all your toenails need to be pulled off. Everybody that had a hand in that decision making needs your toenails pulled off, fed to you one by one. Matter of fact, yeah, no. Feed them to you one by one. I was gonna say chop them up in like a food processor. No. Eat them one by one. One by one. No salt, no seasoning. Just eat them. Just your toenail and blood. That's it. That's all you deserve. Because what the fuck you mean you gonna let R-Truth go? You couldn't put that nigga on a Legends contract or something? Crazy.
You only get one chance to make a first impression.
I just had to speak on that.
Wrestling, a bad debut
can hurt,
or in some cases, destroy someone's entire career. This first one didn't ruin a career, but it was embarrassing. And that's number 10, Matt Sydal.
I was about to say, you can't be talking about Titus.
AEW fans witnessed the debut of Matt Sydal,
AKA
formerly known as Evan Bourne in WWE.
Yeah.
Sydal was supposed to enter the Casino Battle Royale match with a big impact, and well, he technically did.
We'll take every chance known to man and animal.
Oh!
Sydal slipping off the top
Shit.
rope.
I only include Sydal's debut because he was okay and bounced right back. Still, this did not help Matt Sydal start his AEW career on the right foot.
What was that? Where'd he get that from? Was that silly string, nigga? Was that oil? What was that? What made him slip up?
But with Matt Sydal, it was just an accident and
damn, bro.
Someone definitely effed up with his next debut, though. And that's number 9, Imposter Kane.
Oh, hell no.
The whole Imposter Kane storyline is a pretty infamous one in WWE history.
Right.
I honestly like it.
I remember.
For those who don't know,
I wasn't alive.
He started hearing voices in his head that kept repeating.
I was alive, but I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. But I've heard about this. I've heard about this.
The date, May 19th. On top of that, whenever Kane did hear that date, he'd go ballistic and attack anyone in sight.
Right.
After weeks of this going on, we finally found out who was behind it all.
So my question is, which one did they do first? Did they do the Imposter Undertaker first or the Imposter Kane first? Either way, why did they do it with the both of them? That's whack.
Yes, that is real. While it was awesome hearing the old Kane entrance music and seeing the original costume, it was ruined.
Like, look at the hair
he wore. I guess it was a bad hair day in hell. Now, the wig was fixed for later appearances, but like I said earlier, you only get one shot at making a first impression.
I say, wasn't that Kane Luke Gallows? Right? If I remember correctly, is it Imposter Kane Luke Gallows? Y'all back me up on that in the comments. Let me know.
It's not too surprising then that fans did not care when the two Kanes fought each other.
It's crazy.
And even less surprising that WWE got rid of the Imposter Kane almost as soon as he debuted. Give WWE credit though, at least they made the Imposter Kane look strong. When WCW debuted a monster, he still looked strong, but not in the right places. I'm talking about number 8, the Yeti. In 1995,
motherfucker, that's the Mummy. That's a mummy. That ain't no damn Yeti. What the fuck are they talking about? That's a mummy, bro.
thought the future of wrestling was 80s cartoony characters. So, for the majority of the year, Hulk Hogan was feuding with the Dungeon of Doom, a group featuring a ton of wacky characters. One of them was the Giant, aka The Big Show, who fought Hogan for the world title at Halloween Havoc. To ensure Giant would win the title, the Dungeon of Doom revealed they had a, quote, insurance policy. The insurance policy and
hey, I know this is a crazy pause. Y'all already had Andre the Giant. Why then call Big Show the Giant? We didn't have anything else for bro. It was like, know what? You remind me of you big as fuck. You the Giant. Go ahead, get out my face. Like, what was that about, bro?
Ended up being
actually, it might have been like that. Because no, we in WCW right now. We in WCW. I was about to say, if he came over to WWE and they called him the Giant, it might be because he was in WCW and they wanted to give him a shit gimmick or something like that. I don't know. You know how Vince operated back in the day.
And the Yeti!
Even though he was called the Yeti, he looked more
The
like a
Yeti.
mummy, but that's not what earns him a spot on this list. Hogan and the Giant's match ended in a disqualification, and the Dungeon of Doom was laying a beatdown on the Hulkster. To finish the job,
What in the fuck was Big Show doing in the ring just now? He was humping Hulk
and
Hogan.
the Dungeon of Doom was laying a beatdown.
That's nothing. That they just having a good hug in the ring. No, this is not a bear hug. This ain't Mark Henry where he holds you in the air and squeezes you type shit. Nah.
On the Hulkster. To
What
finish
is
the
that?
job, the Yeti made his debut and joined the Giant in bear-hugging Hulk Hogan. However, it looked really, really awkward.
Bruh, what?
I think we might have to censor this.
What is this? What is this? So y'all need, like, bro, it'd be the same motherfuckers that watch this shit talking about today's wrestling being ass. Oh, it ain't nothing but gymnastics. It ain't nothing but gymnastics. I remember when the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan were going at it. Like, shut the fuck up, Unc. Not even Unc, Gramps. Not even Gramps, Great Gramps. Shut up, man. It's two niggas humping a nigga on screen right now, bro. Come on, man.
Not only was the bear hug weird, but the Yeti himself was...
And is that Lex Luger in the background just stomping a hole in a nigga chest?
Just look at him. He looks like a bad Halloween costume. WCW realized their mistake.
The fact that they call this man the Yeti and he's acting nothing, he's just a mummy. He's just a mummy. Like, he's doing nothing that a Yeti would do. Just a mummy.
And immediately had the Yeti change his costume.
This is crazy.
Now, he was a ninja.
Yeah, WCW, I see exactly how y'all got just shit in the gutter. Just that's what y'all were. That's what y'all became. Y'all became just poop sliding down the gutter, man. And it got clogged at a point. And that's when WWE, WWF at the time bought y'all and just emptied out that pipe of just pure shit. That's the best way to put it, bro.
WCW knew what a Yeti was. Number 7, Eric Bischoff.
Oh,
Bischoff's
brother.
on-screen personality in WCW is usually overshadowed by the fact that he was actually running the company. It wasn't until after WCW went out of business that Bischoff's talents as a character and performer got to shine when he joined WWE. However, they did not set up Eric for success.
Right.
On July 15th, 2002, Vince McMahon announced he was shaking things up and that Raw would get a new general manager. He added that the new GM would be announced later in the show, and everyone began to wonder who it could be. About halfway through the broadcast, we finally got our answer, in the most anticlimactic way possible. Backstage, Booker T was giving an interview when this happened. Yep, that's how it was done. Now, I understand why WWE...
Oh, that's the debut itself. I mean, I wasn't around during the time, so maybe seeing that on TV at the time, after hearing the news about them being bought out, it might have meant something. But I mean, to me, in the big 2025 right now, of course, it don't really mean shit.
We did it. After this, WWE went to a commercial break, so the sudden reveal of Eric Bischoff was a great way to keep viewers watching. Still, that does not excuse what a lame debut this was. Sure, Eric Bischoff wasn't a wrestler, but he was actually trying to put WWE out of business, and he came pretty close to doing
the
it
inside
too.
out, or are you
Even
talking
when
about
Vince
WCW?
McMahon announced Bischoff as the new general manager,
These motherfuckers wasn't even shaking hands. What the hell is this? What is this handshake, bro?
he came pretty close to doing it too. Even when Vince McMahon...
What is that? What is that? These niggas was about to be holding hands like they bus buddies or something. You know, you remember when bus buddies or field trip buddies, you know what I'm saying? The person you got to walk with on the field trip, they about to hold hands like those.
Announced Bischoff as the new general manager, it did not have
what
the
is
hype
that?
that a moment like this should have had. Despite the awful debut, Eric Bischoff's run as Raw general manager ended up being pretty great. But think of how much more impactful it would have been had we not seen Bischoff before Vince McMahon introduced him. Number 6, Braden Walker. Now here's a wrestler whose WWE career was over before it had even
I remember
begun.
seeing him.
Chris Harris got his start in wrestling in WCW, but really made a name for himself in TNA. He was part of the company during its formative years and rose to fame when he and James Storm formed America's...
That's where I see him from. That's where I seen him from. Okay, shout out to James Storm too, brother.
Most Wanted. However, in January 2008, Harris was released from his TNA contract. Just weeks later, though, WWE swooped in and signed Christopher Harris.
Why?
Despite WWE's eagerness,
If y'all weren't
going
gonna
to
use him,
wouldn't debut until July 2008.
damn, y'all waited a minute. I mean, look at bro here.
Despite WWE's eagerness,
Bill,
the
Jack.
ex-TNA star wouldn't debut
What happened? He just been sitting.
until July till
And he
May.
changed his
on
fit.
ECW, Armando Estrada was looking to secure a contract. He asked general manager
That
Teddy
nigga trying to
Long
be the
for
new
an
Godfather.
opportunity, so Long put Estrada in a match against a debuting
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Braden Walker.
No offense to anyone named Braden
really-
or Walker, but
I
that's
don't-
just
that
an
name
awful
don't-
name for a wrestler.
yeah, that name don't
I know
hit.
WWE doesn't like using wrestlers' real names, but Chris Harris was so much better. Who sat there and thought Braden Walker was seriously going to take off? Also, when your first spoken words in WWE are a knock-knock joke, it doesn't exactly scream superstar.
He looks
Things
like
didn't
a-
get much
a
better
jobber.
when Walker got into the ring.
Oh.
It wasn't an awful match, but nothing special either. It honestly feels like WWE wanted
What the hell was that?
Braden Walker to become a walking meme because that's basically what
Damn.
happened. After his debut, Walker wrestled one more match before being released from his contract. Now,
What type of clothesline was that?
while the fans didn't cheer for Braden Walker, they at least didn't boo him.
It looked like
This
he
next
actually-
wrestler got
he
such a
need that
bad
nigga in the nuts.
reception that he left the company after one match.
Damn.
The man I'm talking about is number 5, Jeff Hardy.
Now you know me. I'm a Jeff Hardy stan. That's my guy. That's my dog. He can't do no wrong in my eyes. One match, and they got him up out of there. That must have been at the beginning, right? When he was underage. I think that has to be what he's talking about, right? And he talking about debuts. That got to be it. That got to be it.
Today, finding a wrestling crowd that wouldn't go nuts seeing Jeff Hardy would be impossible. The man is loved no matter where he goes, but in 2003, it
Damn.
was a different story. In April of that year, Hardy was fired from WWE due to drug use,
Right.
no showing event,
ROH. ROH, right?
and overall lacking in-ring performance. The charismatic Enigma was not unemployed for too long though, as he joined the recently
See? I told y'all, I know my shit, boy. I know my shit, boy.
launched Ring of Honor. Jeff made his ROH debut at the Death Before Dishonor
They
event,
was
but
booing the
before he had
shit
even
out
made
this
his
nigga,
entrance,
bruh.
the fans were making their opinions loud and clear.
They was booing the hell out this nigga, making fun of him, all type of shit, bro. It was so fucked up. So
Things
fucked up.
only got worse when Jeff Hardy came out, although he wasn't the same Jeff fans had seen in WWE.
Hey, he was Willow.
Instead, Hardy was wearing his Will-O-the-Wisp attire, a character he had created prior to his WWE debut. The look did not matter though, as the crowd could not be more irate seeing
Yeah,
Jeff Hardy
I watched this
in
whole
Ring
match.
of Honor.
Like, that's crazy. As if none of them niggas in the audience drink or do drugs. We want that. It's crazy.
You would think with
Not
that
for
kind of
03 though.
reaction that Jeff Hardy had murdered a puppy the night
Oh.
before. Now, part
Oh, that did not make anything better at all. Him slipping on that rope right there. Oh man, you're drunk now, aren't you, Jeff?
of this was Jeff's fault. His firing from WWE over his drug use and declining performance was still fresh in fans' minds.
Yep.
However, the fans also saw Jeff Hardy as a WWE guy, and Ring of Honor's
Yep.
entire identity was not being
Indies.
WWE. On top of that, at the time, Ring of Honor focused on athletic and technical wrestling, and Jeff Hardy was seen more as a daredevil creating crazy spots. Perhaps because of the overwhelming negative reception, Jeff Hardy's debut match wasn't that good either, only making his Ring of Honor appearance even more infamous. Jeff did win, but he would later go on to call the company Ring of Horror due to his experience. After a debut like that,
But you can't
it's
call
not
it Ring
surprising
of
that Jeff
Horror,
Hardy
it's
left
what
ROH and wouldn't return until 2017.
I mean, like, I get it. I get why they was booing Jeff, but like at the same time, y'all acting like y'all don't have y'all vices. Y'all acting like y'all are holier than thou. Like you making fun of a nigga because he got fired because he has some mental shit going on. Like that's fucked up. That's crazy. Like imagine you was depressed and got fired from work while being depressed, and niggas was just looking at you as the depressed nigga that got fired from work. I don't know what nigga. I don't know, bro. I wouldn't have been in. You know, I wouldn't have been in the crowd talking about some. You got fired. I've been in the crowd. Shut up! Shut! Everybody, shut the fuck up! It's okay, Jeff.
That was pretty bad, but it didn't hurt Jeff's career. This next wrestler's career was ruined
shit.
because of one mistake. And that's number 4, The Machine. This
Machine.
guy's proof that it takes more than size and muscles to be a successful wrestler.
Right.
Emery Hale got into the wrestling business in the mid-90s. Due to
Emery
his impressive
Hale.
stature, it didn't take long for people to take notice.
I ain't gonna lie, that nigga, to me, he just looked like a big ass plumber. I don't know why.
One such person was Jimmy Hart, who brought Hale into WCW with plans for him to be the next major opponent for Hulk Hogan. With goals like that,
Or
you
like
would
a
think
big-ass
WCW would present
mechanic.
Hale as a powerful, unbeatable monster, but you would be wrong. Upon his arrival, Hale lost all of his matches,
Damn.
and usually in pretty quick fashion.
Damn.
That's because, despite having a great look, Hale was awful and boring in the ring.
Just laid that nigga down like a baby.
WCW wasn't ready to give up yet, though. In 1999, Hale was taken off TV for a while, but in February 2000, he re-debuted as a masked wrestler named The Machine. His debut opponent was Diamond Dallas Page, a solid and credible adversary. Despite months of training, The Machine was still just as sloppy as always. However, the point of no return came at the end of the match. The spot was supposed to involve DDP hitting the ropes and The Machine crotching himself. That did all happen, but in the worst way possible. First, Page hit the wrong side of the rope.
What the fuck? Okay, that's his fault. That's DDP. Okay, it starts off with DDP fucking up. Yes, that's horrible ring awareness. Holy shit, nigga. Turn around, look around, something. You can wait till the entire other side of the ring where this nigga is not. Like, what's going on, man?
Second, Machine still sold the move, but it looked
Oh my God. Oh my God. That man does not have a brain. What would tell you to still jump? What would tell you to still jump? I don't know.
looked like he just jumped and neutered himself. The only positive thing to say is that after this, the match quickly came to an end. All the debuts we've seen so far have
That's
been
crazy.
bad, but this was on a different level.
Yeah,
it was
that
so
was just
awful
nuts.
that WCW immediately had Emery take off the mask and start wrestling as Hale. But it still
They had that nigga turned into a crackhead.
wasn't enough to save his career. But it wasn't just newcomers that WCW ruined.
All right, book.
It was legends too. I'm talking about number 3, Bret Hart.
Bret
In
Hart?
late 1997, Bret Hart was the hottest wrestler on the planet, and here's why. At Survivor Series that year, Bret Hart had his final WWE match before leaving to go to their rival, WCW. Bret walked into the match as WWE champion to face the challenger, Shawn
yeah, that's the
Michaels.
Montreal
Normally
Screwjob.
in this situation, Bret Hart would lose the title,
Right.
but he refused to. This was due to Michaels being an unprofessional jerk backstage,
Yeah,
and since Bret
it's
Hart
Montreal
had reasonable
Screwjob.
creative control, he decided to use his authority. However, Vince McMahon was worried that Bret would take the WWE title with him to WCW, similar to what the WWE Women's Champion Medusa had done nearly 2 years earlier. This led to the infamous Montreal Screwjob. In the middle of Bret and Shawn's match, Vince McMahon told the referee to ring the bell as soon as Michaels locked in the sharpshooter. Going off script and witnessing real backstage drama on TV
That's
is why
insane,
this
by
moment
the way.
is still talked about to this day. So imagine how crazy this
Spit on that nigga, bro. He spit on that nigga. He spit on his boss. I know you wish you could do that.
TV
He
is why
spit on
this
his
moment
boss.
is still talked about to this day.
Oh my God, bro. Oh man. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be in jail. A nigga, somebody spit on me, bro. I'm gonna be in jail, bro. Ain't no way. I can't let that go. Like I ain't a prideful nigga. I'm a smart nigga. I ain't finna risk. I got too much shit to lose. Too much shit that I wanted. I love freedom. Feel me? Love freedom. Somebody spit on me though. Jesus better take the wheel, because I promise you, I'm turning into a drunk driver. I'm just saying.
So imagine how crazy this was in 97. I say all this to show just how much attention and interest was on Bret Hart ahead of his WCW debut. World Championship Wrestling had a golden opportunity, and it's not like they didn't know how to handle it. When Kevin Nash and Scott Hall left WWE, WCW used that to create the NWO, which single-handedly allowed WCW to beat WWE in the TV ratings for 83 weeks. So how would WCW debut Bret Hart? They made him the special guest referee for a match between a retired wrestler and someone who was never properly trained.
WCW wanted to end itself. There's no doubt about it in my mind. You just brought in one of the hottest wrestlers, if not the hottest wrestler on the market, to your promotion. who is trying to compete with the promotion he just came from. And you say, Brett, love that we brought you in, man. Go ahead and sit down, man. I just wanted to run some things over by you before you go ahead out for your first night. You're going to be a special guest refereeing a match between this new kid that's no experience named Eric Bischoff and some other guy. He's finna retire though, so just go out there and do your thing. Like what? It's Bret Hart, nigga.
Genius. Okay, to back it up a bit, Eric Bischoff and Larry Zbyszko were feuding and set to have a match with the winner gaining control of WCW's flagship show, Nitro. In order to call it down the middle, Bret Hart was made the special guest referee.
That's
now,
ass.
in WCW's defense, Bret Hart had a 60-day no-compete clause, meaning
Okay, that makes more sense. Damn, he couldn't be on their television. He couldn't be on WCW television for 2 whole months. I mean, you just got that nigga sitting in the back at that point in catering. What do? So you got to do something. So I guess this is what they. I get it. I get it. To be fair, like he said, you got to think about the other parts of the the contract world and business world, and all that shit. I get it.
Meaning he couldn't wrestle. Still, out of all the possibilities, having Bret Hart ref Larry Zbyszko versus Eric Bischoff is what they went with. What was really disappointing though is WCW not capitalizing on the Montreal Screwjob. The only acknowledgement of it was this line.
Because nobody knows better than I do what it's like to get screwed over by a referee.
Bret Hart's entire WCW career is described as a train wreck, and it all started.
And that kick was the beginning and the end of his career. Goldberg crack his orbital bone or something like that?
With this awful debut. Number 2, Tito Ortiz.
Gave him a concussion.
Okay, this might not be a debut in the traditional sense, but it's so bad that I have to talk about it. In 2013, TNA had faction warfare going on. The Aces and Eights had been running roughshod, so Stain and
Aces and Eights was such a fire storyline.
In the middle of all this, a video was sent to the TNA offices that spoke of an August 1st warning.
This Thursday, August Thursday, August on Spike TV.
Fans tuned into the August 1st, 2013 broadcast of TNA Impact with much curiosity. Could it be Batista, John Morrison, Chris Jericho, a TNA original returning? Well, it was none of those. The show ended with the Aces and Eights and the main event Mafia throwing fists. Then, it happened.
Fight at August 1 warning, identity revealed as the MMA legend Tito Ortiz.
That clip of Mr. Anderson.
This doesn't move me. It wouldn't have moved me back then. I would have been like, oh, all right. It's all right. Okay, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he could wrestle, right? I don't know what.
It was absolute crickets in the arena. Tito Ortiz had done almost nothing in wrestling. What did TNA expect? You can put anyone else in Ortiz's place.
Trying to do some WWE shit.
Now here's the real kicker. The reason Tito Ortiz came to TNA was to generate hype for his fight against Rampage Jackson, who had already debuted in TNA.
Yeah.
However, the fight never ended up happening.
What?
Making Ortiz's debut an embarrassing, pointless moment. Now before I reveal number 1, here are a few other debuts that didn't make the list. After weeks of hype, Sin Cara made his WWE debut, rushing towards the ring and sending the United States champion Sheamus packing. That almost didn't happen though, as Sin Cara's first obstacle was just trying to get.
He started his career with a botch, and now his career is known for botches because of how they wanted to set up his matches. That's crazy.
Into the ring. When it happened, it seemed to be just a little one-time slip-up. Little did we know how much worse it was gonna be.
Damn,
In
bro.
March 2010, Sting was sent out to the ring to face a surprise opponent. The surprise ended up being a debuting Rob Van Dam. RVD's TNA debut started out strong as he defeated the Icon in 10 seconds. However, that hype was quickly diminished when Sting spent the next several minutes beating the life out of Van Dam. Way to make RVD look
trying
strong
to fight a
during
nigga
his
with a
first
bat
night in the company.
I mean,
in 1996, Razor Ramon, aka Scott Hall, and Diesel,
RIP.
aka Kevin Nash, left WWE for WCW. A few months later, however, Jim Ross announced that he had brought Ramon and Diesel back to the WWE. This led to the infamous fake Razor and fake Diesel.
Ew, that nigga look crazy.
This could either be a return or for a debut, but either way, it was trash. It was a cheap way for WWE to bait the audience and get them to watch, and nobody benefited from it. Except for the real Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, both of whom got big pay raises because WCW legitimately thought they were going back to WWE. One of the first major WCW stars to debut in WWE after the company shut down was Diamond Dallas Page, but his arrival in WWE was a mixed bag.
Bro, they did him so dirty in WWE. They made that nigga crazy. They made that nigga a pervert, bro.
In the spring of 2001, a mysterious person began stalking The Undertaker's wife, Sarah.
They made that
After
nigga a
weeks of this
pervert,
going
bro.
on, the stalker appeared on Raw under a ski mask, riding Undertaker's motorcycle to the ring. He then took off the mask to reveal his identity. Now, the entire DDP stalking The Undertaker's wife was a pretty bad storyline, but if we're just looking at Page's debut, which we are, it's not bad. The crowd's reaction when he took off the mask was great, and DDP's
at least there was a
reason for stalking
reaction.
The Undertaker's wife made sense. He wanted to make a name for himself by going after a legend, and what better way to do that than target the man's wife? Ultimately, the way the storyline went made DDP look like an idiot, but I can't say his debut was bad. The Big Show made his WWE debut in a big way by interfering during a steel cage match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. The Giant manhandled Austin, but in doing so, he accidentally threw him out of the cage and allowed Stone Cold to win.
Stone Cold couldn't hang on.
This made Big Show look really strong, and sure, but to me, it just made him look kind of dumb and took away from what should have been a powerful debut. Alright, it's time. The #1 worst wrestling
Of course, it's the Shocker.
debut of all time is the Shockmaster.
I said Shocker. Same shit. Yeah, that was crazy.
When that's how your debut goes, you gotta look at a different career path.
Who
Now,
was
that
this
debut
guy?
is one thing, but what about a bad return? To see the worst WWE returns of all time, watch this video.
Does anyone know what happened to him after that? Because, I mean, that killed every bit of momentum that was even drawn up for him to come out with. You know what I mean? But hey, man, if y'all enjoyed the video, I know I did. Like the video, subscribe if you fuck with the vibe. Again, original video is in the description. Go like that video, subscribe to his channel as well. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace.